I am joined now by a buddy of mine. Man, it's been over a decade now, Jon, that I have known you. We've crossed paths through several different industries along the way. You know him from the UFC. He is the play-by-play commentator over there. You might even know him from his podcast with Kenny Florian, the Anik Florian podcast as well. But he is Jon Anik. Welcome. Thank you for some time today, my man.
Great to be with you. And I'm not trying to kiss your butt off the top, but it's like you're Benjamin Button. It's like you look exactly the same age, just as handsome as you were a decade ago. Meantime, I got to shave my head because it would be a white wiffle if I grew it out. So great to see your shining face, and obviously big things going on in the sports world. So it's good to catch up.
Yeah, man, it is. It's one of those things where I don't want people to think that I went and got one of my celebrity friends to jump on and talk about the Super Bowl here. I mean, outside of the octagon, you are a massive, massive sports fan. You follow everything extremely closely, and this gambling thing is not new to you either. That's one of the cool things that I really like about you. You've always been super genuine with all of that, and again, this Super Bowl coming up here, you're going to have thoughts, but this is thoughts that come from a place of a bettor, not just a guy who's kind of does this recreationally.
Yeah, I mean, I've been betting on sports pretty regularly almost every day since 1996 when I placed a 3-leg $10 Major League Baseball parlay from my college dorm room in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So, gambling is genetic, right? Like it is in my blood. My grandfather was sneaking me into cruise ship casinos at a very young age. And I guess for me, the reason why I've been able to sustain is that I don't gamble beyond my means.
Exactly.
There might be a Saturday, and I'm embarrassed to admit this to your audience, but dude, I'll have like 19 straight wagers, which is entirely too much volume. Any sharp you would ever talk to would say that's absolutely nuts. And I didn't go 13-6, but
right.
They're all small wagers. So I've managed to gamble within my means. I go a little bit crazy come Super Bowl time like a lot of people do. And I think I've probably been saved by the fact that I am contractually prevented from betting on MMA or the UFC. I feel like I would have lost a lot of money.
There you go. I mean, yeah, seriously, that is one of the things that I've certainly started to get a little bit more involved with here lately is dabbling in that. But let's talk some football instead. As we sit here recording this on a Friday afternoon, we have seen a little bit of action in the line here. So we started off at 3.5. That didn't last very long. Gets to 4, stays at 4 for a couple of days, moves to 4.5 in favor of the Rams. Now, as we get going, I mean, this is as I log in. I mean, there are a couple of 4s popping up. So that hook is leaving. A little bit of Cincinnati money coming in here. So let's get your initial thoughts here. What is your initial thoughts on this game? How do you think that this thing could play out?
So generally speaking, as a bettor, I play many more underdogs than favorites. So I feel like I need to qualify what I'm going to say off the top because I really don't look at a lot of favorites. And I'm certainly not looking to lay 4.5 or 5 in a Super Bowl situation, even though it happens to be on the home playing surface of the Los Angeles Rams. So when I'm handicapping an NFL football game, regular season or otherwise, first thing I look at, head coach, quarterback, kicker, right? Those are 3 things that I look at, and may sound kind of obvious, right? But when you look at this matchup, I didn't like what I saw necessarily from Sean McVay over the last several weeks. I feel like Zach Taylor, that gives me an advantage there. I certainly like Money Mac in terms of the kicking game as opposed to Matt Gay. And yeah, you could lean to Matthew Stafford a little bit, but if either quarterback is going to make a play with his feet at any point in this game, it's probably going to be Joe Burrow. So head coach, quarterback, kicker, I like the Cincinnati side. I also love the fact that every sharp you probably talk to sees all of these favorable matchups on the Los Angeles Rams side. It's a football game at the end of the day. So I right now have taken Cincinnati +4, small wager. I will probably add to it. I didn't get the 4.5 number, but I'm okay with 4. I may hedge with some propositions. When I look at a guy like Cooper Kupp, I feel like he has a good chance to make me rip up a lot of tickets if I don't have a little bit of action on him to go over in some spots. I wouldn't say I'm bullish on Cincinnati, but I do like the Bengals +4, and that is the side I'm on here as we talk, about a week out.
Yeah, we look at the quarterback situation, and I do honestly believe that I think if you give anybody in the NFL truth serum right now, I don't think they're going to give an edge either way, right? I mean, like maybe you get a bunch of guys who say that these guys are, pretty even. I think you probably get a decent amount of guys who look Burrow's way because, as you mentioned, the intangibles that he brings. I mean, he can go and get you a first down with his legs if need be. This is a dude that got sacked 9 times against the Titans and just pops right back up and gets ready for the next play and goes after it. So I'm kind of with you here. I mean, yeah, I get it. Stafford's a veteran. He has been around a little bit longer. But as far as just what they actually bring to the field on Sunday, 10 days from now, I kind of think that it's about even.
Now, the only Super Bowl I've attended in my life was when the Patriots beat the Rams 13-3. So you can certainly tell that I'm not going anywhere near the over, right? 48.5, 49, whatever it is. If anything, I'll be teasing it down. I will be on the underside almost definitely, as I am in most Super Bowls. But yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford has a lot of weapons and a lot of high-level experience and an absolute cannon. Like, certainly there are parts of that Los Angeles offense that scare the hell out of me. Cooper Kupp should be the most valuable player in the league this year. Forget Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or anybody else you want to throw in the equation. So, yeah, Cooper Kupp scares the hell out of me. But I do believe that Matthew Stafford is, albeit slightly, the more mistake-prone quarterback. And even though in this era of mobile quarterbacks, I find it interesting that the two guys who are the last two quarterbacks standing aren't guys that you see as playmakers with their feet necessarily. So I'm excited to see what Zach Taylor can do. And I think Joe Mixon's going to have a big game.
So let's talk about it, Super Bowl MVP here. We know that this is typically a quarterback award here. The two short shots easily are Stafford and Burrow, but you just mentioned I see a path at least to some of these other guys winning the award here, because it's not out of the realm of possibility with the way that the Rams offense is structured, and even with the Cincinnati side as well, where Matthew Stafford could throw for 255, but 155 of those go to Cooper Kupp, right? Or Joe Burrow might go for 290, but 160 and 2 touchdowns go to Jamar Chase. So I don't know if this is as cut and dry this year that it's definitely going to be a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have some examples, if memory serves, Deion Branch, Julian Edelman, guys that have gotten consideration as wide receivers. But, bro, like Tom Brady, he stole an MVP from Adam Vinatieri or Ty Law, you know? So, yeah, that gives me tremendous pause to be on a guy that is not a quarterback. And I don't think there's going to be any value on Cooper Kupp. So that's why I'm going to look at the Cooper Kupp propositions. You know, I might take a flyer on Joe Mixon. You know, I really think that he's going to be able to churn a little bit. So, I don't know. I mean, in the past, I have basically tried to determine which team is going to win, and then I placed a small bet on the quarterback. I'm not going to be doing that this year. But, yeah, I mean, Super Bowl MVP can be prohibitive. It can be almost as prohibitive, candidly, as regular season MVP when it comes to trying to back a positional guy. Because if Cooper Kupp ain't the MVP this year, when there isn't like an overwhelmingly obvious quarterback, I think Brady and Rodgers kind of neck and neck. If Kupp can't win the regular season MVP this year, doesn't give me a lot of faith that he'll be the Super Bowl MVP, even if he blows up for 155 yards.
Are you a heads or a tails guy?
All right, so I'm a tails guy. I have historically played tails, and while I don't have the recent history to add to our conversation, I feel like I've been ripping up a lot of tickets of late. So I am going to play heads on Sunday. Going to
play heads this year. Are you going to do anthem research?
No, I don't get into all of that. You know, I got burned one year betting the under, and the total time went soaring over. Now, the biggest loss of my life as a sports bettor was on Hillary Clinton to beat Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election. So I'm certainly willing to step outside the box and bet on entertainment or politics, but I will lay off any halftime show and any national anthem props.
So let's get you out of here by giving your just macro thoughts on what would be the key for both of these teams. If you're talking to somebody on Monday and the Rams won, how did they win? What happened? And if you're talking to somebody on Monday and Cincinnati won, how did they win and what happened in the game?
It's a great question. I like the way you set it up. I think there have been a lot of lessons to be learned throughout this postseason. I think there have been a lot of coaching blunders. There have been a lot of teams that haven't been aggressive enough in terms of going for it. I mean, I hate to have my New England bias keep creeping in, but you remember when Belichick was vilified for going for the 4th and 2 in his own end against the Indianapolis Colts? It didn't work out, but he was way ahead of his time. So I look at these two head coaches. Which one is going to go balls to the wall and really grab this game and take advantage of it? And I keep coming back to Sean McVay coaching in his second Super Bowl and putting up 3 goddamn points the first time around. So I think it's going to take aggressiveness on both sides. You know, I have no doubt that Zach Taylor, when presented with opportunities, is going to go for it. And I do think Sean McVay, after putting up just 3 points in his first Super Bowl, is going to be aggressive when it comes to his play calling. I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see the result rest on the leg of Matt Gay or probably more likely Evan McPherson.
Right.
And I love the ice water in his veins. Special teams, I would give a slight advantage to Los Angeles, but overall, I like Cincinnati's kicker better. So I think it's a fascinating matchup. I happen to have family who are Cincinnati Bengals fans, and to see these little boys just light up to see their team in the Super Bowl is pretty incredible. Because candidly, I've said this to you before, but when I was a Patriots season ticket holder, they were the laughing stock of the NFL. And much of my life was spent bemoaning the fact that the Patriots would never even get to a Super Bowl, never mind win one. So I'm happy for the Cincinnati fans, to the Rams fans to a lesser degree, but happy for them as well. I think it's going to be a great game. And I kind of like not having a real dog in the fight. So go Cincinnati, but I'm really not going to be upset to see either one of these coaches realize a world championship.
Again, you can see him over at the UFC, all of the big fights. You know that voice. It is Jon Anik. You can follow him on Twitter at Jon_Anik. And go ahead and subscribe to the Anik, the Anik Florian pod as well. Get all of your goods from the MMA side of things in that as well. Jon, thanks for the time, buddy.
Appreciate you, brother. Good to see you.